In this video for the Amendment Tracking System online guides, we cover Module 9 and we look at the refresh amendment workflow. We'll look at what the refresh process is and how users will know if they need to run a refresh. We'll show you how to run the refresh process and also give you an understanding of how you can see which parts of your document has been changed. And we'll give you some tips in how you can copy some content from previous versions into the latest updated version of your amendment document. And lastly, we'll look at how you can create a printed copy of your amendment document as well. For this video, we'll be using the ATS authoring system. And don't forget, there are online guides available on our DELP website. Planning support are there to assist. planning.support@delp.vic.gov.au. Now, let's look at the purpose of a refresh amendment workflow. Well, the refresh ensures that your amendment document contains the most up-to-date data from the master of your planning scheme. So if you recall, when you created the instruction list with those instruction items, it took a copy of the your master planning scheme and place that into the amendment document. So if you had have done the instruction list 2 years ago or 12 months ago, it's taken a copy of the master planning scheme at that point in time. So that's why this refresh process is really important. Users will be advised that they need to run a refresh. Often they'll receive a message, and this message will look like a grey box and stating that master content has changed since last synchronized. And this is an example there. The message will appear above any part of content throughout the amendment document. And we'll have a look at an example. And even if you don't get this message, you can still run the refresh, and I'll be running a refresh on my document even though I don't have this message. So we'll get into the authoring systems shortly and have a look at that. So this is an example of a document that has this message appear. You can see in this section 21.07-1, the message has appeared within just above that content item there. Now, be mindful that message can appear numerous times throughout your amendment document. So when we run the process, we always select the amendment header, amendment, and with the amendment number. So let's get into the authoring system and have a look at that now. Okay, so here I am in my amendment document and working from the review tab, just make sure I'm on the review tab, I would select the header. Again, as I said, you might get messages appear just above any parts of content with that grey message, but at the moment I don't have anything in this particular amendment. But if I select the header, because I still want to run this refresh and make sure I have the latest content, under Tasks, opening that up on the right, we'll select to apply a workflow. On the search box, we'll put in refresh. You can see it just pop up there. So let's select refresh amendment. And we have to add that task to our workflow list. That's it there. If I didn't want to do it, I can take it out. But I want to do that. So let's now click apply. So what that has done, that's done a workflow, and it's checked that any part of my content, if it has been updated in the master as of this point in time, now I will receive an email. So let's wait for the email to come through, which will advise me if any content within my amendment document has changed. Okay, this is an email that I received. It was pretty quick. And you can see my amendment number, and there's a URL which will take us back to the amendment document if needed. But I can see that it's actually passed through the process, and there was no changes required there. So, and that's good to know. Now let's have a look at an email where the user was advised that there were changes. So I'll get one of those. Okay, so here we've got an email where a refresh process was done on an amendment document, and the user has been advised what parts of content was refreshed. There's 2 areas in their amendment document that was actually refreshed. So now we're back to our amendment document, and I want to now have a look at the parts of content that went through that refresh process. So say, for example, if this particular subclause section went through the process, I just want to open that up into another browser window just so I can work with this particular bit of content. Now, I'm not going to open that up in edit mode yet. And if you recall from Module 6, we looked at versions. Now, if I select the versions option on the right-hand side now, it will bring up all the versions that have been created. Now, if a refresh has caused my entire content there to be overwritten with the master copy because there was a change that went through, I would get a version here called, usually it's about 2.0 major, might even be 3.0 major, but it'll be a major change. It'll be noted that it was a system change. So it looks similar to this type of a change. You'll see something like this, and this is a 1.0 major. Okay, so you get something that looks similar to that. So what you can do, just be mindful, you have not lost your changes. Okay, so say for example, this is a 2.0 major change done by the refresh. I can easily come to another version where I had some tables. Those tables were deleted. So I'm going to come to a version that I had the tables created. There you go. Now say for example, the refresh process actually took out my new tables and I really didn't want to have to redo them. So what I'll do, I'll just copy, I'm on the versions, I'm not in edit mode, remember that. I'll copy let me highlight that. I'll copy the relevant areas. There you go. As long as I highlight all that area and copy, just Control C or right click, copy. And so I've copied that. Okay, I'll just close the versions now. We'll open up that bit of content to edit. So I'm in edit mode now. You can see there's tables aren't there because they've been overwritten by the refresh. So I'll just create a new paragraph and Control V to paste in my new tables. So I haven't lost them. Just be mindful if I haven't lost the tables, I can just go to previous versions and copy and bring them back in. Be mindful though that any changes that you had in your amendment prior to that refresh occurring, you've got to make sure that they're still relevant with the latest version of the master copy. So the refresh process is really crucial to getting the amendment completed properly. Now, one thing I just want to point out, if you see I'm in this paragraph, I'm trying to hit delete and even backspace, not doing anything. Remember, as long as I have my settings and show boundaries on with show controls checked, if that ever happens, to the far right, there's a little cog there, which enables us to show options. And I'll select that little bin, which is delete this element. Just tidying up the work there. I don't think there's anything else there. Happy with that. So I'm happy with those changes. I've done the refresh, added those tables that I had in my amendment document previously, and save. I'll just close that. Let's navigate to our Publish tab so we can print our amendment document. So I'll print another copy, Publish Print PDF, RGB. That'll generate a copy. Now say for example, I want to compare this to previous versions so I can make sure that, you know, I haven't missed anything from the previously overwritten version. So when that comes up, I'll then create a comparison to a version I think where all my changes were, so I can pick any previous snapshot or published document. So I'll just select that one and I'll select create a comparison. And when that comes up, of course we select the eye icon to view, bring that to screen. And here we are. So let's have a look. What can we see? We can see those tables that I've brought in. Now, not happy with that width, I would actually go back into the document and make sure that I actually adjust that width. It's gone a bit too wide. So I'll make sure that's probably about 20 or 30%. I'll change it as a percent, so probably 20 or 30%. And I think we cover that in our module 4 when we look at creating tables. So that is how a user can easily run a refresh. And again, do not be concerned, you don't lose your changes. So long as you're in that bit of content, so if I was in Resorts Profile, in that bit of content, have that open At any point in time, I can have a look at my previous versions, okay? And work back and just even copy and paste. In our next module, Module 10, we'll look at submitting an amendment and show you how you can upload supporting documents.